Alright, what's going on everybody? This is your boy Like and One Half Enduro. Back again with part 2 of Is Gaming Game Boring? Or Gaming Boring, I don't want to call it. I'm just basically just talking about some stuff. So, again, I want to preface this by saying anybody who's watching this is like this. Like, right now, the way gaming is, I don't have a problem with people's preference. That's why I said there's no perfect games in my situation. Technically speaking, I am doing a lot of stuff crazy behind the scenes, which of course I'll put the videos on the channel. I built my computer. I'm building another computer. My computer I had for like, it lasted 15 years. 15 years. 15 years. But it finally says quit so I'm going to do a new computer. So I'm going to take the parts together and make a new computer, of course. Pull out of the grave. um, what else I'll say? I'll put out of the grave. But when I did the last video, I was talking about the usual stuff that I predicted was going to happen. Why gaming has gotten the way it is. Why we got broken games. Why people buy the same crap over and over again. Again, I laugh when people talk about, oh, Zelda Twilight Prince, the Twilight Prince, I keep on saying that. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a $70 DLC. I agree with you on the price. Don't like it. But here's the other part. Y'all, we're going to be talking about that situation today because I talked about it in the last video. But you'll buy Fortnite. Nothing's really changed. You buy Madden every year. Nothing's really changed. FIFA, same thing. But Zelda is a bad, whatever that situation. Right. I understand. I get it. That makes no sense to me. But what can I say to people? People have their preferences. So I myself doesn't have really nothing bad per se to say. But I will state this: this hobby of ours will start to crumble the way things are going, and not gonna be surprised because of all the crap that's going on. So before we get into, I wanna use this video. There's multiple videos like this, but I wanna use this video called Why Quit Gaming. Um, Broken Nip broke it up. I'm gonna use this video, but there's multiple videos out there of people why they're getting, because again, gaming is supposed to be about fun, and I don't knock a person out there who makes their hustle. If you can make money off of it, make money off of it. I'll never get in a man's pocket, care about a man's pocket as long as he ain't doing something really bad. I don't care. But I will say, we need to talk about the situation that came up last week about Microsoft and the leaks and everything, and then we'll get into this video here. Okay, so let's get into that.
Document was uploaded just like any other, appearing normal when viewed.
And like I said, using Upper Echelon's video as well in this one, but give me a second here.
Viewed in a browser, but not so fast, because when that file was opened in Adobe Reader, the attachments were visible, and the attachments contained a lot of files. That breach led to the discovery of all of this, and it's a lot. We're talking full timeline of Xbox plans till 2030. Discussions about a possible hostile takeover of Nintendo with other names for acquisition like Warner Brothers.
Hostile takeover Nintendo? Really?
You serious? And Valve. An Xbox handheld, next-generation consoles and dates, next-generation controllers, a whole bunch of info about games like Oblivion and Fallout 3 Remastered, or Red Dead Redemption 2 for next-gen systems, an Xbox cloud console, Indiana Jones, Dishonored 3, the next Doom title, Ghostwire Tokyo 2, stats on Game Pass, and their targets, plus more that I'm not even going to get into right now, because there's an active feeding frenzy on what the leaks contain, currently in gaming media, and I'm more interested in giving the overview today. Moving on. This is quite probably the largest and most damaging leak from any company in video game history, and yes, it came from Microsoft. See, a lot of Xbox fans were oh so high on their copium. I'm not being an asshole, I'm just kidding, okay? I love you guys, but Some fans were theorizing that this might have been intentional. It wasn't.
Okay,
According to
sure.
Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley in a signed order, quote, Microsoft provided the link on September 14th and the court uploaded the exhibits to internet page established for this case, end quote. It was Microsoft. So what does it mean? Well, for starters, though I won't focus on the smaller items, there are two things that I find most interesting in all of the covers so far. First being Microsoft's attitude towards Nintendo.
Oh, hold on. Bastards.
Attitude towards Game Pass, funnily enough. For Nintendo, the relevant email causing a stir all across social media right now
Not really.
is this one from Xbox CEO of gaming Phil Spencer. Quote, Takeshi, I totally agree that Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming, and today gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance. I've had numerous conversations with the LT of Nintendo about tighter collaboration and feel like if any US company would have a chance with Nintendo, we are probably in the best position.
What are you talking about, Microsoft? You all got a bad problem right now buying all these publishers, and you ain't done nothing with them. Y'all the worst.
The unfortunate, or fortunate for Nintendo situation, is that Nintendo is sitting on a pile of cash.
They always have been. Even when the Wii U, with people, oh, Nintendo's worst console. The Wii U, they sell out a pile of cash, and the Wii U made profits. It made money. But, again, it's kind of funny how a lot of people keep on forgetting that memory in the past.
They have a board of directors that until recently has not pushed for further increases in market growth or stock appreciation. I say until recently, as our former Microsoft Board of Directors member Value Act has been heavily acquiring shares of Nintendo, and I've kept in touch with Mason Morfitt as he's been acquiring. It's likely he will be pushing for more from Nintendo stock, which could create opportunities for us. Without that catalyst, I don't see an angle to a near-term mutually agreeable merger of Nintendo and Microsoft.
Because it won't happen.
And I don't think a hostile action would be a good move, so we are
You think?
playing the long game. But our board of directors has seen the full write-up on Nintendo and Valve, and they are fully supportive on either if opportunity arises, as am I. End quote. For reference, there's a link in the middle that he included in his email, which goes here. An exclusive from Reuters, Value Act eyes Nintendo with stake of over $1.1 billion. That has a lot of people champing at the bit for an argument online. Some people are calling it evil, monopolistic, scummy, and others are excited that Microsoft is apparently seriously considering a takeover of Valve, Nintendo, Warner Brothers, or even ZeniMax. Phil Spencer.
The Microsoft brand has the money, but the Microsoft gaming doesn't make shit. I've debunked this a long time ago in many past videos. They don't make that much money. Nintendo makes more money than Microsoft. And so and even when the PlayStation was right hard, the PlayStation 4, and then you had the Wii U, Nintendo was still making more money. In some years that they were better than PlayStation 4. And also, you're not gonna buy away all the intellectual properties. They don't have it. All the intellectual property that Nintendo owns worth over $100 billion, not the $1 billion. So what are you gonna do?
Spencer mentions those two later on in the same email. My thoughts? Microsoft doesn't really have a legitimate shot at Nintendo due to the relative success of Nintendo Switch and first-party games for that platform. But then again, a lot of this comes to us without context, and we really just have a collection of emails. Microsoft is clearly making an active push to acquire stock in Nintendo by proxy or straight up, wherever that might lead. So the door is certainly open. Maybe it's a legitimate possibility, maybe not, but that was one of the most interesting individual items, at least in my opinion. The second thing that people have widely discussed, actually not nearly as much as the Nintendo stuff, but the second thing I believe they should be widely discussing are the Game Pass figures. Turns out the leaked files contained this, which outlines the current state of Microsoft Game Pass. And in my view, till right now, Game Pass was a massive growing success, but reality itself may not be so kind. See, the documents contain projections forward-looking till 2030, and Phil Spencer has openly stated, quote, if we do not make more progress than this off-console, we would exit the gaming business, end quote. That's a pretty big deal. And maybe it's posturing because of their lawsuit regarding Activision Blizzard. Oh, poor little me, Microsoft, even though they're not little by any stretch of the word. But this type of macro business environment is something we as the customers really very rarely get to see. Sure, we don't actually know what's going to happen 6 years from now, in 2030, but Microsoft is making very big plays using a lot of resources. Want some proof? Okay. This one comes from Kotaku. Like I said, basically every single gaming publication is feeding on the links right now like a veritable cornucopia out in a field in the Hunger Games. According to additional material found in the breach, these are Microsoft's own internal estimates when it comes to the relative cost of acquiring games for Game Pass. Lego Star Wars, $35 million. Dying Light 2, $50 million. Red Dead Redemption 2, $5 million per month. Dragon Ball, The Breakers, $20 million. A couple more $5 million price tags, 14, etc., etc. Gotham Knights, $50 million. Assassin's Creed Mirage, $100 million. Suicide Squad, $250 million. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, $300 million. Mortal Kombat 1, $250 million. Grand Theft Auto 5, $12 to $15 million per month, and a couple more fives. I probably don't need to emphasize this, but that is not a small amount of money to acquire Game Pass titles. And again, this isn't a complete picture of Microsoft's inner workings, far from it, but it's more than we've ever seen
a lot of money
on the customer side. And my personal opinion is that spending on that scale probably won't be an indefinite venture, making me much more receptive to the idea that Microsoft is genuinely examining their own position in the industry. See, Xbox is a big deal to all of us. But to Microsoft, a $2.4 trillion company whose main revenue stream is from server products and cloud services, when their second highest income stream is Office products and third is Windows, yeah, they don't care about gaming the way we do. Gaming, for them, is down way at the bottom with LinkedIn and Bing advertising.
Bingo! Again, this is what, maybe the 6th, 7th time I said that that gaming does not push as much stuff as they want. That's why they're best, and I do mean this. I've said it before, and I had the receipts for this and everything. Their best spot when they'll make a lot of money was the Xbox 360. And even then, the Red Ring of Death pulled back a lot of that revenue. From since then, they have not done anything that, like I said, they're gaming. They make games, but like I said, and right now, what's hurting them now is they buying all these studios and they ain't putting out no games. That's what's hurting Microsoft right now.
The scope of this leak is enormous, and just in case people still don't fully understand why, try this on for size. Companies like Microsoft, they're definitely not alone. Sony, Google, and others use a similar technique to be sure, but focusing on Microsoft here for this video. Microsoft holds a patent for something called Watermark to Identify Leak Source, which is basically a system where extremely subtle watermarks are built into proprietary information, so you can't even actually grab screenshots. They can trace those, or disperse it, or whatever, without leading directly back to at least one individual at the company. It's pretty complicated, but effectively there is a massive amount of scrutiny when it comes to sensitive information, meaning that we really just don't see leaks on this scale from people working at the company actively. We don't see it because Microsoft has a patented system to trace it, and whoever does the leaking obviously gets fucked. However, because of the way this particular leak occurred, things kind of spun out of control rather fast. Microsoft can't shut this down, and yeah, somebody's probably getting fired, but the result is that we, the customer, gets to see how the sausage is made, if you will.
And it's not a good sausage
that Microsoft accidentally let out into the wild.
So you get to see what's going on behind the scenes per se with all these people saying that. But again, it's kind of funny because once again, it is proved Liger was correct when I was saying all this stuff back in 2014, 2015, all the way up to now. This is Phil Spencer, good guy or bad guy, but I don't think of him as an evil man. But again, when you buy all these studios and you barely producing 80 games, because only first-party games or licensed games to the company makes the big bucks really per se. You have to spend all these licenses as you just saw just to Game Pass, just to make it just float above the water, just relevant. It's not even you're making tons of money. Can you spend a lot of money for what? And again, those are some of the games. That's not even all the games. And that's billions of dollars you spend just to keep Microsoft Cloud going and Xbox Pass. Not worth it. When Xbox started first with the online, when they had all the indie stuff, like how they did, that's when, again, back in the 360 era, that's when they were making the money. But now, they ain't doing that crap. They're not. They're not doing it. I'm telling you that right now. It's a sucky adventure. So, with that said, I want to go into the other part. This is another part of gaming that's also starting to hurt people. Like I said again, if you want to make your money and you're doing your thing, I have no problem against that. I'm not pocket watching. But I will say this though. When you start to make certain hobbies and you take it super serious, it burns you out. You lose the love. You lose the love of what makes the game, the hobby, fun. I should say. I myself experienced that when I was doing my music company. When I had my first and second platinum plaque, that happened in the same year in 2007. When I had my first platinum plaque album, I was like, wow. And that year, I said again, that year I made $3 million. And I was on the high horse. I was up high. And certain people at the time forced me to do something. And they were like, hey, man, you could do this and do that. And it's still on me because I made that mistake. I still made a mistake. But I forced the album. I forced the album out faster than I thought it should have been out. Funny enough now, because I got an album that's supposed to be out in 2017 and it still ain't got out because, of course, problems and COVID and everything else happened. But anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, when people start selling the money, and I'm part of it too, I'm not saying I wasn't, when I start seeing that and I put out the album, now, was the product I put out, the album I put out after those two albums that made money was bad? No, it wasn't. It's just the next two albums. Was they bad? No. People still like I'll be honest, like 3 or 4 songs off the album compared to the first that went platinum, where people like most of the whole album and the whole vibe. And again, the first album that went platinum was the album I never thought would have been there. And then the second one was a double album, which nobody does that no more. I think I'm one of the few people who did a last, like an indie that had a double album that went platinum. It was 2 discs. It was 40-something songs, and it was basically a really good song on a really, really good album. But then it just started being like, hey, let's get this stuff out. Let's try to force this here. Let's do this here. Let's do that. And it didn't feel right. Did I have fun making the songs? Yeah, but it felt like I was just slogging along trying to make a buck more than doing it for the fun when I do it. One of the things is when one of the albums, out of the 2 albums that was after the other 2 albums, was that when I used to do the band stuff, what I used to do is I used to go to Orlando. We used to go in a studio that's kind of like it's a big studio. It's a really big studio. Mostly you could do like concert stuff in there, whatever. And how we used to do our music, we used to go in there, we used to tell everybody, hey, come up with a beat, a rhythm. So if it's a guitar person, it'll be like, bling, 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 something like that. And then we'll just, he play over and over again, and then the riff, and we were like, okay. And, add the drums, and the horns and the trumpet, because we had a full band. And we added, and we had a song, and then we just came up with a beat that was like, oh, wow. This is awesome. Excuse me. This is awesome. me about that. I got a little phlegm in my throat. Oh, excuse me. Give me a second. So, sorry about that. So that's what we used to do. I used to be on the keyboard and play maybe a couple thing, bling, 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 keys, have stuff, and then we follow that. But the thing about it is, we were having fun. We were having fun. We played some of those songs at my wedding, and you know, we had a ball of people just enjoying the music. Even though it was something different for most people. So this is what gaming has come to now. So I want to play this for you guys because this is what I said. For some people, this is what's happening in gaming, and I feel bad for y'all, but I understand where you're coming from.
As a kid, my one true love was video games. I would sit down and play for hours on end just to pass the time. Very quickly, I fell into the world of competitive gaming, with one of the first games I remember playing sort of competitively being Mortal Kombat X. I mean, I was like 12 or something, so I would just basically spam the same move over and over until the guy hopefully died. And I wasn't like super into it or nothing, but I did dump a bunch of hours.
This feeling of taking someone down who had way more wins than me was a feeling like no other.
I learned new combos as I got older, but quickly discarded it for something new. This was only the beginning of my descent into degeneracy, and was mostly innocent. My first true addiction was Overwatch. I had dumped hours upon hours into this game, learning strategies and improving my aim just to one day reach platinum. Every update to the game I was right on top of. Every buff, nerf, map change, I was so thirsty for this game. At school, I would just think about sinking all of my hours into Overwatch. And I did,
until my grandma would come into my room for the third time and beg me to stop.
I really enjoyed this idea of queuing up with a bunch of random teammates and making the best out of the people given to us. Sometimes you would partner up with a group of people for the night and you guys would end up having the time of your lives, cracking jokes and destroying enemy teams to never even talk to each other again. But eventually, these things stopped mattering to me and I set my mind on the goal of getting to platinum. By the end of 700 hours, I finally made it, but my love for the game was beginning to fall apart. The game had changed so much from what it once was. The meta was becoming this boring, sit behind two shields and just shoot from long range until one of us had our shields break down. Also, this grind for competitive points just took out most of the fun parts of the game for me. I always enjoyed switching up my heroes often and trying out new strategies that were unconventional, but to get to platinum, I just hard-made Mercy until I eventually crawled my way into platinum, not even learning how to play DPS really ever. Eventually, I got burnt out of this game. Plus, I mean, a new game had been catching my interest. Fortnite. It was my new obsession. Fortnite. Fortnite was one of the worst things in my life. My obsession with Fortnite was a tumor attached to my brain. I would wake up thinking about getting on the game, go to school talking amongst my friends about the new updates coming out instead of paying attention in class. When I first played Fortnite was way back in Season 2 of Chapter 1. That was December 14th, 2017, and for 2 years straight until they released Chapter 2, Fortnite was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would probably average 8 hours on Fortnite every day. Why do homework? Why socialize? I could just get better at this random ass building game and I'm sure I'll do just fine in life. I would wait up until 6 AM just so that Fortnite would release stink bombs and I would be the first ones to use it. Oh, when a new season dropped, I knew every last thing within the first couple of hours. I would grind all the missions immediately and get my battle pass to the very end just to have that skin that showed me of this accomplishment. I was using this system to give my life meaning at the time. Completing the battle pass gave me purpose, no matter how stupid that sounds. I would play the same game day in and day out, just for a chance for being number one in this huge lobby of people. There was so much I could have focused on in my actual life, but I was too scared to face what I had already done to myself. I was rapidly falling behind in school, neglecting my own hygiene, and I decided that the only thing
Wow.
I cared about was being number one in a video game. It made me feel as if I was actually accomplishing something. But really what it made me accomplish was another day decaying, another day avoiding all my responsibilities, another day doing literally nothing with my life.
Yep.
And I was okay with that because I reached number one in a video game. It's pathetic. Slowly, I stopped even getting better at the game. I would just stare at the screen and hope that I win. Not trying to strategize, no training, just sit down, lose, load up again, lose, load up, lose. It was that until it was time to sleep. Becoming a actual robot for Fortnite. And after this, it only got worse. I stopped caring about even improving in the video game that I was playing. And in real life, COVID was about to hit. And with COVID came my newest, worst addiction. League of Legends.
Oh, wow.
2020 was a terrible year for a lot of us. I was held up in my house, and if I wasn't paying attention in class before, then I really wasn't now. I would just sleep through my classes, and slowly I started going literally insane as I lost motivation to even get out of my bed. I needed a way to pass time that wasn't just staring at my wall, so I had to figure it out. So I took out my junk-ass laptop onto my bed, where I now spend all of my day unless I had to like take a shit, and I booted up League of Legends. The perfect way to waste hours at a time. I didn't even care about actually strategizing. That would take too much of my brain. I would just throw myself into the enemy champion over and over and hope they just feed to me. People would light me up in the chat just, how do you not know that you need to have the jungle warded at 2:30? That's when the jungle ends their camp and they're most likely gonna gank you and you need to...
You just didn't care.
And I would just keep clicking and clicking, using websites to tell me how to build my characters without even reading what items do. At this point, it wasn't even just wasting my life playing video games. I feel like you can really build an amazing hobby out of playing video games.
Yes.
I'm of the opinion that video games in their own way are art. I really enjoy seeing smaller creators showing their creativity and their intricate stories through gameplay. Immersing yourself into a new world and coming up with solutions to a game's challenges are rewarding and genuinely good for you sometimes, I believe. Even these competitive games have so much to them, you know? Learning strategy, knowing when to take cover, when to go in for the fight, what items work well together, what times are best to strike, improving your accuracy, even cooperation amongst your teammates. But this isn't why I was here. I was here because I was depressed. I didn't give a single shit for strategy. I was just watching time pass at this point. Not only now was I accomplishing nothing in real life, but I even gave up on working on my skill for the game. I would load up the game just so that there would be something happening in front of my eyes, waiting for life to change, waiting for the day I wake up and just understand what I need to be doing.
That's
But
sad.
there will never be a day like that. If you want or need change, you need to be the one to implement that. I was waiting for change, but I was scared of it at the same time. Change will feel terrifying to you, but the best way to overcome this fear is to control the change. Don't just let it come to you. Be the reason things are changing in your life.
Take that new opportunity. Ask out the girl you've liked for years.
Do
No.
something risky for once. At first, you will be so nervous, and you will fail sometimes. But failing is just another word for growing. You will come out of those experiences stronger, and sometimes you will go for that radical change that will improve your life, and you will get exactly what you want. You cannot just
I
wait
hope
for life to change.
Yeah.
Life will change, but if you just let it change without at least giving your best effort to make it a change that you are passionate about, if you choose to ignore what you know needs to be done, then you will always be a victim to the world instead of taking control and becoming your own. Competitive games put me into a loop of nothingness. I only was able to overcome this by putting down the game and asking myself,
What do I need to change in my life?
and then I needed to start taking the steps. It was very overwhelming at first. It was a long journey. I felt like I was already so far behind. I didn't even know what I cared about anymore. One step at a time though, I learned myself. and I grew out of this phase of my life where my self-worth came from video games. I learned just how important change is to life. I can't keep trying to do the same thing forever. I need to expand my knowledge and change the pace as often as I can, or else I can turn into a robot doing the same thing day in and day out. And eventually, one day, I would pass, feeling nothing and contributing nothing.
Well, I get where he's coming from, and that's this. Like I said, that's the existential part of saying that right there. But we've seen what these games as he put himself in that spot. That is what the gaming companies want you to be. That's why they give all these season pass and all this stuff for these games. And again, Nintendo's no different if they have, because you had F-Zero 99, and that's an example, but it's not competitive. But I know people could turn any game into a meta game and do it, stuff like that. But we're losing the joy of fun. That's why when they did Smash Brothers, it was all about fun before it became this meta thing or whatever. I don't play Smash competitively. I never have, and I never will. And like I said, I'm out of the loop. People will, say stuff for me. But to me, playing the games the way I wanted it and have fun is something that I always said. I will always play games for the fun. And also play games to get away from certain things. De-stress, relax. As we just saw in the first episode where they're forcing stuff in games now for reasons that's unknown, but they're using it to make you do certain things, and I'm not down with that at all. Just talk about a game. Let's talk about the fun. That's what it should be about, not this existential trying to make this be, oh, we got to do this nonsense. It shouldn't be that way. Gaming is a hobby. If you want to make money off of it, I'm not stopping you from making money off of it. But understand this, though. Just know that hobby was for you to escape and just relax. Not to become your crutch in your depression. Not to become your thing that makes you just hate the hobby itself. There's enough things in the world that's bad. As he said, COVID was going around. All that was bad. The scandemic, as I will call it, and only a couple people would understand that. But when you feel tired and you feel lazy, when you feel like you're depressed, you should be going to a game and say, let me turn this on and have fun. Most people love to have fun with their friends. And again, I'm not knocking them. I'm not one of them, but I'm not knocking them. Me, I like playing a lot of solo video games. Like in the last couple, like I said, play Breath of the Wild, Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. As you all saw, don't worry. Sorry, I will bring back gaming chill. So we can talk about stuff. But we saw that. We got I've been playing, like I said, Gunvolt 3. I've been playing Pikmin. I'm at the end of Pikmin. Playing Pikmin 4. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's the games I've been playing. And I'm enjoying them. And I can't wait to get back into Ys, because I got Ys 9. Can't wait to get back into Ys 8. Because that game was such one of the best RPGs I played in a long time that I want to get back in that game. And to the point, like I said, I could have bought the PlayStation 5 version. I'm like, you know what? No. I work hard. I beat the Switch. I got the extra boss ending, the ultra ending, and all that stuff. I'm just gonna go back and play the game for what it is on the Switch. Again, I don't know if you guys will join me on that or not. We'll see. But yeah, just go ahead and play some good games out there. Don't let it wrap your life around in it. It's a part of your life, but it's not your life. And that's why you should be enjoying the games, having fun. And if you have your friends, play with your friends. If you want to do competitive, make your money, yeah. But again, it's still something that is existential of you. That's not what you should be. All right? That's why that's why anybody who comes to the channel, we don't have many, we only have, getting close to 3,000 subscribers, I think. if I'm looking at it, let me see here. Yeah, we're close to 3,000 subscribers, and again, views is still going up. Thank y'all for that. Thank y'all for helping it up. Like I said, 55,000 views and 12,000 hours of watching, and we're doing better than the average the last couple of months. So yeah, we're going up. And again, I want to thank everybody out there for that. So, hey, I'm not. And again, you see some of the game and chill, whatever. Chill. Like I said, I'm happy we get a couple of 40 here, 39 there. It's not a lot, but hey, I'll take it because I don't play it. This is not my job. I play this for fun. And for y'all who come in the chat, everybody from Terrell to Trip to Fluid to anybody who comes in the chat, thank you for giving me your time, your ears, listening to what I gotta say, and enjoying the games. Now, I'm not gonna be one of those who's like, oh, you got the time to edit everything and do all that stuff, because again, I have a company to run, and I have a company to run, and I have a 9 to 5 architect job that I do. So, hey, I'm just telling you that don't get lost into it, okay? That's all I'm saying. So of course we're gonna do one more video, part 3, and I hope you guys you see it, you enjoy it. With that said, this is your boy Liger. Remember, there's no perfect games out there. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy games on all consoles, including PC. Peace out.